YouTube, what's good? It's your boy Auri. Oh Lord, I got all my mop and my broom and everything in the corner. What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Auri. Welcome back to. We're gonna be reacting to Tommy Mother Effing Goat G inside a SWAT and drug task force raid. Tommy, you're working with the feds. That's kind of crazy, personally. But if you guys are new to the channel, smash that like button, subscribe. Let me know what you guys want to see down below in the comments. Sorry if I sound stuffed up and I'm not doing good right now, bro. I'm doing shitty right now. But you know, I still gotta record something for you guys and put it out there. You know, but let's get into it.
Copy that, dead officer.
My name is Tommy G, and you might be wondering how I got here. Initially, I took a road trip to Memphis where I was going to be working with a nonprofit called We Fight Monsters to cover a story on human trafficking. But my friend at the nonprofit, Ben Owen, said, well, if you're going to be coming to Memphis, you might as well meet my friend Johnny Carter. He does undercover drug busts here. So of course I give Johnny a call, and like any true pal would, he invited me to a raid. You see, Johnny happens to be the director for West Tennessee Drug Task Force, so he has the pull to actually invite me to a raid where we'd also be meeting up with members of Memphis SWAT and other law enforcement agencies. Seeing as I've spent much of my career on YouTube covering the criminal side of the coin, I thought this would...
Keep it about. Keep it about. Do y'all personally feel like this fucks with Tommy G's image? And like he said the same thing. When I first saw it, I was like, this is not Tommy. When I watch Tommy, I want to learn how to commit fraud. When I watch Tommy G, I want to know how to get charged with a federal crime. I don't want to watch him raid black homes or raid whatever. I don't want to watch that. That's when I click Tommy. So I'm watching the video because it's interesting. But I still like him. I still fuck with Tommy. But it's not something that first comes to my mind when I hear with Tommy G. Tommy G, boy, I'm gonna learn how to run up a quick bag real quick. Run up a bag real quick. You know? But let's see. Let me know if you think you fuck with this image.
Would be an interesting opportunity to interview law enforcement and hear their story. And growing up as a bit of a pothead and rebel in high school, I've always had a little suspicion about police.
I'm gonna lie, I look, you don't want to hear the side of the police. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know why, but it's like, not interested.
Police and authority, partly because I had trouble accepting that someone with a badge had the power to send me to jail for reefer, and partly because I was probably paranoid in my smoke-filled car. But as I've gotten older and lived in more sketchy neighborhoods, I've come to realize that good and accountable law enforcement is essential to a safe community. So in this episode, we get to witness a raid. I get to ask law...
Tommy G sound like an informant. I ain't gonna lie. Me personally, that I think that's, oh my gosh, it's just for document. Yeah, but you gotta remember, Tommy, like niggas who bring Tommy G into their world, they have this persona like, okay, this nigga don't fuck with 12 just for education, but now he fucks with 12. He has contact with 12 type shit.
Law enforcement, all the sorts of questions you might also want to ask, and towards the end, good old Johnny has to draw his gun, but more on that later. This, folks, is inside an undercover drug bust. Let's get into it.
New merch at TommyGMcGee.com.
Welcome to the underworld, folks. Honey G.
6 a.m. in Memphis, Tennessee. We're gonna be taking an inside look into the world of drugs at an angle that we've never seen it before. Usually on the channel, we're the ones interviewing the guy that's selling it, buying it, and this time we're gonna be interviewing the side that's raiding it. So I think we're gonna learn a lot. It's raining a bit here in Memphis, so I asked Johnny, are we still going in? Johnny said we're like the post office. It's rain or shine, they're gonna visit you. So, what's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Good to meet you. How are you? You guys get nervous for stuff like this? If that vehicle shows up to your house, you know you're
Oh yeah, you know, there's no question.
And how many overall men do you think will make this breach?
So there'll be one SWAT team that'll make the breach. Then once the SWAT team secures the house, everybody's in cuffs, they've checked it, they'll do a secondary check. then the search will start.
Do you get nervous before stuff like this?
Doing it for 26 years, I still get nervous every day.
And do we know what we're hitting this guy for?
Fentanyl.
How much we talking?
Ounces.
How much can I make off an ounce of fentanyl?
It's about $20 a button. A button's about 1/10 of a gram. About $5,600. It's a never-ending battle. It's a game of whack-a-mole. You knock one down and two more pop up.
What was the timeline of when you feel like fentanyl really entered Memphis?
Hey, listen, fentanyl, big money business. Ain't no little shit but that. Big federal crime. What? I learned today that actually if you touch fentanyl, they could actually kill you.
As soon as the states and the government cracked down on prescription opioids, you had Big Pharma. They introduced the opioid pain meds, they introduced the pain scale, and they made pain a right in the hospital, and doctors were giving it like it's the best thing since sliced bread. And then you had addicts that got addicted to it.
It's crazy hearing law enforcement acknowledge that Big Pharma is the root of a lot of the drug addiction issues in America, yet when you look at things, not one executive has ever served prison time, and all these small dealers are getting busted.
Like, okay, side quest. Y'all remember that United Nation guy who got killed in New York? Like, this might sound crazy, but it's like, I don't support killing somebody in cold blood, but as a part of me, like, I understand. Sad to say it like that. Because it's like, bro, you are a big pharmaceutical CEO where you could have made health care affordable for those who can. You literally cut benefits. I mean, cut the things you covered, but increase the price. I give you less, but I charge you more. Or I tell you the last minute, oh, we don't cover that no more. Or you just pull the rug. Nah, man. It's fucked up. So it's like, don't support it, but I understand.
It speaks to a growing frustration with Americans that the white-collar criminals can get away with anything and get rich, and the little guys get 10, 15, 20 plus years.
And then everybody cracked down on it. They did away with it. They're not prescribing it as openly as they used to. And, cartels, they pay attention to what's going on, and they adjust. They're a business. They're all about money.
So right now we're traveling in a convoy.
Oh, yeah.
Around how many men would you guess are going to be on this operation?
Oh, geez. 30. So what we'll do is they'll go in and secure. They'll do their initial entry, the initial search. They'll get everybody that's out in the open secured in handcuffs, and then they'll do a secondary search for anybody that might be hiding. And then we will start the search.
Before we see this raid, I wanted to get the scoop from someone who's been raided a few different times. This is Fila. He was a big Memphis drug dealer and OG back in the day, and this is his story.
I had this trap house over on Macklemore, and every night it was a f***ing party there, 7 days a week. It was coke, it was crack, it was seed, man, plenty of money, everything. I loved it. So one.
And I can see he did some of the crack with it that was there. This nigga got one tooth. Not even. Wow. This nigga got this shit going on. Oh, this nigga got this shit going on. I had crack in the ID. My gosh.
One night I was inside.
They say black don't crack, but if you smoke it, it sure would.
My bedroom, and I know the music up front be loud and everybody be partying, but I was fucking tired. I just had to get some rest. And I woke up in the middle of the night and it was fucking quiet, and I'm like, so I get up and I walk out. My front door, the raw end door was wide open. Next thing I know, when I turn my back, bam! The cops. So they take me to the door and I look out on the porch, and everybody that was in my house was handcuffed and laying face down on the ground.
So there's a trap house right next to a sheriff's deputy?
So that's probably why they're not selling as much out of that house and going to other places.
Okay, so they're at the front door, they're preparing to go. Holy. So they're not doing a no-knock raid, I take it?
No, those are illegal now.
Probably for good reason, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, hold on.
No.
So they're not doing a no-knock raid, I take it?
No, those are illegal now.
Probably for good reason, right?
Oh, yeah.
breaching the door. They're kicking the door in.
Okay, so before they kick open your door, they gotta announce that they're the police. Gotcha.
So he's not complying, or is he coming out?
So I really don't know at this point.
If there was going to be a shootout today, this is the moment when it would happen. For a tense minute, there was a standoff in which all guns were aimed at the house. Thankfully, the suspects decided to surrender peacefully, and after that, the SWAT team conducted their search.
So this is actually a female that's our main target.
Nah, y'all know y'all could let Auntie put on some pants now. Come on now. Y'all know y'all could put on some pants. She's a king queen.
Damn, can you imagine raining out, you're woken up at 6:20 a.m. in your underwear and you're taken to jail, and that, how many years is a guy like this facing most likely? Like,
so it depends on the amount and their criminal history. Sale of fentanyl is a Class B felony.
They should get the maximum amount of time that it carries. Fentanyl is like playing Russian roulette. You don't know if you gonna hit this shit and you gonna die or not.
I agree with you. Fentanyl ain't nothing to fuck with, bro. Scarface
6:30 a.m. the raid was completed without a hitch. Now the rest of the house is being searched. These people were wanted for selling fentanyl. I guess we've been doing this job covering the underworld long enough that I can say I've never met anyone that I would consider evil. I meet people that make really bad decisions. You guys draw a line in the sand, like, is someone that sells a large quantity of fentanyl, are they evil or just a good person making bad choices? Like, what level of sympathy or grace do you give to somebody like that? It's easy from an outsider, like, oh, the guy just selling drugs to pay his rent. Like, I don't think it's right, but I get it. Okay, that's one level. Another is, she just sold a dose that killed my brother. Like, now it's personal. Like, how many bodies are attached to this fentanyl game? And then, you know, when everything is said and done, how much of this just has to do with poverty and rough situations? We were at a Texas prison recently, and not one of those guys came from an upper middle class home with two parents in the household. Like, show of hands, who would say they grew up in poverty?
Damn.
Show of hands, how many of you had your father in your life growing up as a kid? How many of you didn't?
God
Certainly
damn.
the job of a drug dealer has been popularized, has been glamorized in hip hop and rap. Like, the hustler is the guy that people look up to in a community. And is that because rap made it cool, or because, depending on what area you're from, that might be the one guy with some sort of resources? I don't know. If I'm treating everyone like I'm an older brother and I could give them advice, I don't think I would tell them to do anything that can result in years behind bars. What amount of money is worth time in prison? Like, even if someone said, I'll give you $1 million, but you gotta go away for 10 years. No, I wouldn't take $1 million for 1 year. Some of the law enforcement we spoke to.
Tommy, you bugging the fuck out. When I take a man for a yell, give me 5 and I'll do the yell. Give me 5. Tax free.
Were operating undercover, and for this reason, we had to blur their face for their interviews. For the average guy in the streets out there, can you remind them how much of a bad idea having a switch on you is?
Turns it into an automatic pistol, which is an ATF violation, which is a federal crime. You know, and once we do our job, what the actual prosecutors do with it is kind of up to them. The other big problem we're seeing right now, man, is that, man, we're grabbing these dudes and putting them in jail for serious violent crimes, and they're getting out, you know, in a day or two.
Like murder?
Murder. It's all in the news right now in Memphis, man. They're released. They're RORing guys on first-degree murder charges.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's in the news. I mean,
Because it's innocent till proven guilty, or like, what's the rationale for that?
Hold on.
you know, they're
13 and 18-year-old charged with deadly Memphis crime spree.
released. They're RORing guys on first-degree murder charges.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's in the news. I mean,
Because it's innocent till proven guilty, or like, what's the rationale for that?
their rationale, I think, is that they're like, well, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty, And then they're like, well, this person they arrested doesn't have a job, and they live at home with their mother, or whatever. And I understand a little bit of that. I can empathize a little bit, but when it's a violent felony, bro, and the other thing is, you're right, it is instant to proven guilty, but law enforcement, I've been doing this for 18 years, man, and law enforcement, in my opinion, we don't put charges like aggravated assault, aggravated robbery, murder. We don't put those charges on people just with a little bit of evidence to make it probable, right? Probable cause. We don't do that. It is hard evidence, man, because I don't want to, even if we have doubt, we're not going to arrest somebody on a charge like that unless we're firmly convinced that they committed that crime. The repercussions of even just being charged and arrested, and maybe even being released later and found that you're innocent of it, like that can follow somebody for the rest of their life.
Right now, the people
I fuck with that nigga saying innocent until proven guilty. Sorry, bro. Man, listen. The reason why I said, like, okay, I get what he's saying to an extent, but nah, bro. Fuck that. Because they're making it sound like, oh, trust us, we're the officers, and when we say he's being charged with aggravated assault, we have hardcore. I don't give a damn what your word, bro. Prove it, nigga. Your job is as a police officer is to catch me. If I'm committing a crime, it's to catch me. Get the evidence that to back up what you're saying. Whether it's a body cam, fingerprints, DNA, whatever. Get it, my boy. Sad to say it like that. I'm like, oh my gosh, sorry, but he said, nah. Because what he's saying right now, I get it. That's not like he said personally, his opinion, but it's too open because not every officer. And I don't know him, obviously. Not just giving the benefit of the doubt. He's a good officer. Not everybody is a good officer. So you have to put that room or those rules in place for those who would try to do some fuck shit and you fucking, like, just say for example, I'm probably rambling now. Oh, you fucking my daughter? Bad.
I'm most afraid of are typically like the 15-year-olds. This is Steve Mulroy, the district attorney of Shelby County. He and his team of 110 prosecutors set the tone for how crime is fought in Memphis, the most dangerous city in America. Some in the city praise him for things like increasing funding for the homeless and ending the illegal practice of 48-hour holds of suspects without probable cause. But others, including some of the cops we spoke to, thought he was soft on crime and deserved blame for some of the lawlessness in the city. This is what he had to say. Let's dive more into the juveniles, because what I've noticed in traveling the country and being in some of the craziest areas is it's the younger kids, 13, 14, 15-year-old kids that you sometimes have to be the most afraid of. How do you curb them, but also not just give them a free pass to get out tomorrow and do it again?
There are two particular types of crimes here in Shelby County that we're really concerned about with under 18 crime. One is car break-ins and the other is car thefts. One of the things we're doing to address that problem is we've set up in our office something called the CARS unit in our juvenile court team. And the idea is that the goal is to try to intervene early on where these under 18, but these kids are committing a nonviolent car break-in or a nonviolent car theft. We're trying to intervene before they graduate on to more serious crimes. By the time they come to us, they're already down the wrong path. Right. Yeah. What we really want to do is intervene more upstream, earlier in their lives, where it can be more effective.
The people that are doing the killing, especially the young guys, like, what is the psychological profile that it seems like there's been such a loss of value in life? Mm-hmm. What is that?
I don't think a lot of these killings are done with any real thought put into it. Right? I think it's an emotional response at a moment's notice.
So impulse control issues?
Very much impulse control. I mean, that's why you're seeing most of these young people that, in their teens that are committing a lot of these crimes. It's impulse control. For whatever reason, I don't think they understand the ramifications and the depth of what they're doing.
Do you think the killer celebrated?
Yeah, oh yeah. Man, so-and-so got 2 bodies. He got 3 bodies. Whatever. That's how they look at it. It just continues, man.
So for someone that says, like, wow, man, people are in tough situations, poverty.
Bullshit. You're making excuses, man, because you can say it's because they come from, an environment that doesn't give them chances. That's bullshit, man. I don't want to hear that. It's still the United States of America, man. If you make the decision to make your life better, you can make your life better.
What's going through your head right now?
I'm just glad everybody's safe. We're safe, the bad guys are safe, nobody got hurt, so that's a good day. And then, of course, we found what we were looking for, so that's an even better day.
Were there any weapons found?
No weapons, surprisingly.
How often do you find a switch when it comes to a fentanyl bust?
Switches are all over. The external switches, now they've got internal switches too, which are harder to you have to break the gun down to find it.
Over the course of your career, how many raids, busts do you think you've gone on?
Oh, Jesus. Well over 1,000. I've been in law enforcement 26 years, full-time dope and gangs for 21 years. I do anywhere from 1 to 6 a week. So that's a lot of math this early in the morning.
Does it feel like you have a wild job?
Okay.
It used to.
1 to 6
It's
a
kind of
week.
become the norm for me now. I mean, it's still, I still love it. It's still exciting.
1 to 6.
And it's still a community
Okay,
service.
So we're doing 1 to 6, right? Okay. Sorry.
How rough is this immediate area that we're in right now?
Okay,
If
1 to
it
6. I'm gonna do the math while we watch.
wasn't raining, we'd have done heard 10 gunshots.
So rain almost helped the operation.
Rain helped keep us safe, absolutely. There wasn't any lookouts, there wasn't anybody out. So we're gonna go ahead and process the evidence, count the money, do some field tests on the narcotics that we seized, and start the process that nobody wants, and that's the paperwork.
All right, guys, we'll see you at headquarters.
Listen, chat. Listen. If he did 6 raids a day, 6 raids a week for 21 years, his raid count is 6,048 raids minimum. But that's the high end. That's the high end. Let me go to the low end. Let me go to the low end.
You've been doing this for 26 years. How have the last handful of years been different, or what have you noticed about these last handful of years?
So back when interdiction first became a thing, back in the, I'd say the 90s, it was pretty much trunk loads. You know, they throw it in the trunk and they take it wherever. So when you stop that car and you pop that trunk, or you look in that bag in the back.
Listen, if he did 2 raids a year for 21 years, that's still 2016 raids over his course of his career. And that's two raids a week. Crazy.
See, it was full of drugs.
Niggas the LeBron James of raids.
Nowadays, cartels have evolved. They hire people specifically to try to find ways to hide the drugs.
Now, do Memphis gangs come in contact with the cartels?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Do you think the Vice Lords, the Crips, the GDs, that they are doing in some way business with cartels?
Sure, absolutely. Everybody is, if you think about it. Even the end user is indirectly doing business with the cartel.
How has the game changed in the last couple of years?
Oh, it's
even Wall Street. Let's not talk about that one.
Constantly evolving. I mean, every day you wake up, it's something new. It's a different way of hiding. It's a different way of selling. It's a different terminology. It's a different drug.
As we were sitting in Johnny's office, the interrogation of the suspects was happening in the room next door, so I peeked around the corner to see if I could hear how it was going. I tried to imagine how the suspects were feeling, knowing that if found guilty, they faced years of their life in prison behind bars. Is there any misconception about your line of work that you'd like to educate the public on?
There's a difference in opinion, which is what makes America America. Everybody has their own opinions. Some people think, oh, there's the war on drugs, we're never going to win, and we should leave these people alone, let them do what they do, and they're not bothering anybody but themselves. Some people think they ought to be locked up and the key thrown away for the rest of their life. Personally, I'm somewhere in the middle there. I think if we can help somebody and we can rehabilitate them. There are some people out there that probably need to be locked up and the key thrown away, and that's those evil people that I've stared in the face over the years.
How long can these interrogations go for?
Oh, I've had them go from 30 seconds to 4 hours.
When people are in the interrogation room, what percentage of them talk and give up information?
So the majority will talk and will give up some amount of information, and that doesn't mean that they cooperate. This year alone, we seized over a ton of narcotics since January 1.
What percentage of that is non-weed tonnage?
Oh, the majority of it's weed.
Do you ever feel like when you bust a house for weed?
Oh, come on, man. Weed?
California or that came.
Do you ever feel like when you bust a house for weed, or you're like, come on, that's weed?
Yes and no. The majority of that came off the interdiction unit, off the interstate. It was coming out of California or Colorado, places like that, coming across. Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a big one now. You were speaking earlier about the Chinese marijuana industry, and Oklahoma's ground zero for that.
This person here is trying to make the decisions that would determine how many years of their life will be spent behind bars. Let's tell you more about that process. Let's talk about the odds these suspects are facing. If the feds were involved in the raid, the conviction rate in fed cases is over 95%. If it's just the county involved, their chances are decently better in fighting the charge. However, one thing worth noting is that most of these cases never make it to court. The vast majority result in plea deals. And due to the heavy caseload many courts face, plea deals with reduced sentences are often offered to promote cooperation and accelerate the legal process. Another tactic those charged can expect is an attempt by law enforcement to turn them into confidential informants in exchange for a heavily reduced sentence. If they give away key evidence, this information can be used to obtain a warrant to raid the next dealer in the chain. The flip side of this, of course, is the extreme danger of being found out to be a snitch.
All right, we're going to walk over here. We're going to start going through all the evidence that we recovered from the house. We'll do some field tests. We've got to count the money and go through everything.
What is the true economic opportunity of doing this? Someone running a dope house, what type of money are they making monthly?
Roughly, I'm guessing $15,000.
And due to civil forfeiture laws, is that money now your squad's?
So to speak. There's a whole lot of paperwork and a whole lot of hearings that go along with that. We can't just take your money. We can't just say, oh, it's drug money, let's take it.
Civil forfeiture is the highly controversial practice in which law enforcement can seize the property of someone suspected of a crime. But the thing is, the suspect doesn't even need to be officially charged with the crime for the property to be taken. The most commonly seized assets include cars, cash, guns, and in some cases even the house of the suspect. Once approved by the courts, the police are then allowed to keep or sell these assets. And many agencies, including Johnny's, fund themselves through this method. And to give perspective of how much this happens, the federal government has pocketed nearly $69 billion through civil forfeiture in the last 20 years. Proponents of this practice maintain that this is a way to keep criminal organizations from getting too powerful by hampering their resources, while opponents of civil forfeiture think this is essentially allowing law enforcement to commit legalized theft and is therefore a major violation of civil rights. Here's my lawyer's take on the subject.
One, the police can come in and take things that they don't know where they came from. Are they fruits of crime? Were they bought with illicit proceeds? Or are they merely someone's actual stuff and cash? And there's been terrible instances where, imagine, the kid is selling marijuana out of his bedroom, small amounts, but the government will come after the parents and go after their car or even their house in some circumstances and say, well, it was used in maintaining a drug place, and so we're going to seize that asset. We see this a lot with people who don't trust banks. Imagine someone who's just trying to gather a bunch of money and go do something, buy a piece of property, buy a car, maybe save for their own house or their kids' college education. So they're squirreling away money, under their mattress essentially. And the police come in for some related or unrelated reason, and they grab all that money. What's that average citizen going to do against all the government agents and all their lawyers and all the bureaucracy that's built up to take those assets?
I'm curious to hear in the comments what your take on civil forfeiture is. In your professional opinion, what is the quality of the herb, the marijuana that we have on the table right now?
Probably pretty good. Smells more like medicinal.
Could I offer my professional opinion?
Sure.
Did you ask them what the strain of this might be?
Yeah, they didn't know.
Is not any of that purple Urkel? No. Would a raid have been organized just for this amount of weed?
No. It would have taken pounds and pounds for us to have even thought about it.
Tell me about the fake Perk 30s that's been coming up in the streets.
Oh God, they're everywhere. They're everywhere, and they're so easy to tell. Real Perk 30s are not as plentiful as the fake Perk 30s that are coming out. And so we'll double count all this, but these are in $1,000 stacks. So if they're all correct, that's 2, 3, 4, 5. This one stack right here is going to be $8 grand. Shay, on that tablet right there, 5,000 from the third drawer, room 3. So there's another 1,300 from the bedroom drawer. Red tote in the closet, $8 grand. $1,000 bundles, 8 $1,000 bundles. What's your guess over there, guys?
18,000.
I'm gonna go with 16.7.
18,121.
I wanted a taste of what undercover work was like, so Johnny took us to an area with sketchy motels that was known for being a crime hotspot. Driving around in Johnny's car that looked like the Fedmobile, we would soon find out that the locals were not happy to see us. So when you're navigating the hotspot, what are you thinking? What's going through your head?
Well, I mean, you're looking for what's out of the ordinary. So you have this crew walking over here.
Something looks like it's happening.
Something's going on. So she leaned in the window. She disappeared. Either he could have sold to her and she's going up to use, or he's buying and she went up to get the product.
Is this a circumstance where the ant leads to the queen?
Yeah, I mean, you take it as far as you can. Our goal is to move up. So we get the user with, you know, 1/10 of a gram or a 1/4 gram or 1/2 gram. We flip them to their dealer. We get them, we flip them to their supplier, to their mid-level supplier.
So it's a game of dominoes in a way.
It is. See, that's occupied. There's a guy in the driver's seat back in right there. He's not going into the hotel. He's been approached at least by one street person. She could have bought from him a while ago. Went maybe put it up in a room for later, who knows.
Have you had any close calls doing undercover work?
Yeah, I've had a few. Went through a neighborhood. Lady was walking through the hood and waved me down, so I stopped. And she tried to sell me some crack. 2 different ways. 2 different kinds
Both
of crack.
types of crack, huh?
Yeah.
Damn, you must have looked like a good customer.
And that turned into me trying to arrest her. That turned into her fighting, and then that turned into her pimp coming out and fighting with her against me. So I was 2-on-1 for about 6 or 7 minutes. This was the days before tasers.
Uh-oh, the guy that was...
Yeah, I'm watching him. And
the guy behind us was the dealer, right? Potentially.
Potentially. That's cool. He's filming the car. But
This sketchy potential criminal reverse Uno'd us. You see, instead of Johnny pursuing him, he began pursuing us in an aggressive manner. Folks, in the shadowy underworld, the laws of the jungle apply, and territory can be fought over fiercely, and apparently we were not welcome here.
Oh, he's heating up.
oh, he'll be fine.
He's trying to get up on the director of drug task force car.
Let's see if he follows me in here. If he does, yeah, I didn't think he was.
You gonna call the boys on him?
No, I was fixing to stop him. Is he still sitting there? Oh yeah, he's moving on now. Yeah, I was a little concerned about getting boxed in. That's why. That's the kind of stuff right there. I mean, that's in every neighborhood. Like you come into a neighborhood, you're not known in that neighborhood. You're not welcome in that neighborhood. They're going to be coming up on you. They're going to stop you. They're going to want to know what you're doing there.
Wow.
And that's the part of the undercover risk.
Man, this is a job that
real
puts
quick.
hair on your chest, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I tried doing it for 23 years.
Damn.
Absolute
Tom.
pleasure.
Yep.
Thank you,
My
man.
pleasure. Thank you.
Folks, stay in school. Don't do drugs.
Gosh,
except
man.
for the ones that he can't find. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Oh, gosh. Oh, Tommy G. Hey, you have anything in the end?
Folks, hope you enjoyed this episode. You want to watch another?
Oh, okay, yeah. One of the guys' oldest dog, Willie, out. Oh, my gosh. Y'all, I'm not good. Sorry if I haven't been too reactive, but it was really entertaining, though, but it's just not well. I'm going to go rest myself. I feel like shit. If you guys enjoyed the video, smash that like button, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what you want to see. Until the next one, I'm out. Peace.